Have you ever met someone and instantly felt connected to them, like you have known them for years, even if you just met? That feeling is not random, it is not luck, and it is definitely not casual. It is psychology. And once you understand it, you can control it. In every conversation, in every negotiation, and in every deal. Now think about this. Have you ever been in a situation where you explained everything perfectly, you gave all the logical reasons, you answered every objection, and still the person said, "Let me think about it"? That moment right there is where most people lose. Not because they are not good, not because the offer is bad, but because they failed to create connection. And if there is no connection, there is no trust. And if there is no trust, there is no sale. And today, I am going to show you exactly how to fix this by using one of the most powerful psychological principles ever, the mirror effect. But before we go deeper, if you want to master psychology, business, and money, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications, because what you are about to learn can completely change the way you communicate forever. Now let's start from the biggest mistake that almost everyone makes when they try to sell or influence someone. They try to convince. They try to push. They try to explain more and more, thinking that more information equals more persuasion. But the truth is, the more you push, the more resistance you create. Because people do not like being convinced. People like feeling understood, and there is a massive difference between the two. When you try to convince, you are working against the person. When you try to understand, you are working with them. And this is where everything changes. Because the real game is not persuasion. The real game is alignment. And alignment happens when the other person feels like you are similar to them, when they feel like you think like them, speak like them, and understand them at a deeper level. Now, to understand this, you need to understand how the brain works. At a very basic level, your brain is constantly scanning for safety. It is asking one question over and over again. Is this safe? And anything that feels unfamiliar creates tension, even if there is no real danger. This happens subconsciously. You do not control it. It just happens. Now, on the other side, anything that feels familiar creates comfort. And when there is comfort, there is trust. And when there is trust, decisions become easy. This is why you naturally like people who are similar to you. People who talk like you. People who think like you. People who behave like you. This is not coincidence. This is how human psychology works. And the mirror effect is simply the ability to recreate that feeling, on demand, in a natural and ethical way. Now let me make this even more real. Imagine you walk into a meeting and you meet two different people. The first one is very energetic. He talks fast, he moves a lot, high intensity. The second one is calm. He speaks slowly, he listens carefully, he gives you space. Now here is the question, who do you trust more? The answer is, it depends on you. If you are high energy, you will trust the first. If you are calm, you will trust the second. And this is the key insight. There is no perfect communication style. There is only alignment or misalignment. And most people fail because they communicate in their own style instead of adapting to the other person. And this is exactly what changed everything for me. The moment I stopped trying to be impressive and started focusing on being relatable. Now let's go practical. The first level of the mirror effect is physical mirroring. This is where most people start, but also where most people make mistakes. Because they think mirroring means copying, and that is wrong. If you copy someone too obviously, it becomes weird. It becomes unnatural, and it breaks trust instead of building it. Real mirroring is subtle. It is invisible. It is about small adjustments. If the other person speaks slowly, you slow down. If they are relaxed, you relax. If they are more serious, you reduce your energy. You are not imitating, you are synchronizing. And when you synchronize, you create comfort. Now we go deeper. Because the real power is not in the body. It is in the way you speak, the way you use words, the tone, the rhythm. Every person has a preferred way of processing information. Some people think in images, others think in sounds, others think in feelings. If someone says, "I see what you mean," they are visual. If they say, "That sounds right," they are auditory. If they say, "That feels good," they are emotional. Now imagine this. They say, "I do not see how this would work," and you respond, "Let me explain." There is a mismatch. Instead you say, Let me show you. Now you are aligned. And when you are aligned, trust increases automatically. Now let me show you one of the most powerful techniques you can use immediately, the echo technique. This is simple, but incredibly effective. You repeat the last 2 or 3 words the person says, and then you stay silent. For example, "I am not sure this is the right time." You respond, "Not the right time?" and then you stop. No pressure, no argument, no explanation. And what happens next? They start explaining themselves. They open up. They reveal more. And here is the key insight. The more someone talks, the more they convince themselves. Now here is something most people do wrong. They are afraid of silence. They rush to fill it. But silence is power. After you use the echo technique, stay silent. Let them think. Let them speak. Because silence creates pressure, but not from you, from within them. Now let's apply everything together. Imagine you are in a sales conversation. The client says, "This sounds interesting, but I am not sure." Most people respond like this. "Let me explain why this is a great opportunity." Wrong move. Instead, you slow down. You match the tone. You match the energy. And you say, "Not sure?" And then, silence. Now they talk. Now you listen. And now you understand the real problem. Because the real objection is almost never the first one. Now let's go even deeper into high-ticket situations, because this is where the real money is made. When the stakes are higher, emotions are stronger, and resistance is bigger. If someone says, "It is expensive," most people panic. They justify, they explain, they defend. Wrong move. Instead, you slow down. You match their energy, and you say, "Expensive," and then you stay silent. Now they explain. And now you understand. Maybe it is not about price. Maybe it is about uncertainty. Maybe it is about trust. Maybe it is about fear. And once you understand the real reason, everything becomes easier. Now let's go even deeper. At the highest level, this is not about techniques. It is about emotional synchronization. You are not just matching words, you are matching internal states. If someone is uncertain, you do not overpower them. You meet them where they are and guide them forward. If someone is calm, you stay calm. If someone is energetic, you increase your energy. You tune into their frequency. And when you are on the same frequency, communication becomes effortless. Now here is another powerful concept: pacing and leading. First, you match, then you guide. You do not try to change someone immediately. You first align with them. And once they feel understood, then you can lead them. This is how real influence works. Not force, but flow. Now let's talk about the most common mistakes. Number 1, over-mirroring. If you try too hard, it becomes obvious, and it breaks trust. Number 2, fake tone. If your tone is not genuine, people will feel it immediately. Number 3, talking too much. Remember this, the goal is not to talk more. The goal is to understand more. Number 4, ignoring emotions. If you only focus on logic, you will lose the deal, because decisions are emotional first and logical second. Now let's bring everything together. The person speaks. You listen carefully. You identify their style. You match their tone and energy. You use the echo technique. You stay silent. You let them open up. You understand the real problem. And then you guide them step by step. This is how you build trust. This is how you reduce resistance. This is how you close deals, naturally. Now I want you to think about your last conversations. How many times did you try to explain more instead of understanding more? How many times did you talk instead of listening? How many times did you push instead of aligning? Because this is where the real difference is made. The people who win in business, in sales, in life, are not the ones who talk the most. They are the ones who understand the best. Now, before we close, if you got value from this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because on this channel, I break down the psychology behind money, business, and influence in a way that you can actually use. And if you can understand people, you can influence outcomes. And if you can influence outcomes, you can change your life. Now it is your turn. Go out there, test this, and see the difference for yourself.